Well, hey there guys, how are you doing? In this video we're going to take a look at guitar bridges. And we're going to go from the very complex down to the very, very basic. Don't go away. Well, hey there guys, welcome to Rock Hard Riffs. This is, of course, the guitar channel for the self-taught. Now guys, we're going to take a look at these different bridges that we have here and a couple others that we don't, such as Bigsby's and Kahlers. Now, I used to have a Kahler and a Flying V, a Hammer Flying V, many years ago, and I did love it, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. Now, first off, we have an Epiphone Les Paul Special here. Now, this is what's called a wraparound bridge. There's no tailpiece or anything, it's just one unit. And it's drilled, of course, directly into the guitar itself, the bolts. And these things, unfortunately, sometimes have a tendency to lean forward after a while. But if they're secured properly, you shouldn't have any problem with that. You can see on the bottom two sides, if you see, they're little screws, and that takes care of the intonation, so you intonate it that way. Believe it or not, this thing's really good. It keeps the guitar well intonated, and it makes the strings vibrate in a very different way. These strings really vibrate on that bridge. It's very different, very interesting. I like it a lot. It's I've never had one quite like this before, and I do like it again, and it's easy to mute, easy to play. Now here we have the typical Fender Telecaster and with the saddles, and you can see how that all surrounds the bridge pickup there. These, of course, go through the back. The strings go through the back on this bridge. As you see, the strings go in here and then they go up through the saddle. This stays in tune really well. I don't have any problems with this. Again, these saddles are separately intonated and function very well. Now we move on to the Gibson style, what's known as the ABR1 Tune-o-matic bridge and stop bar tailpiece. This is what I guess I would imagine, because the thing leaning forward was probably the biggest issue, that they probably just couldn't get them mounted like they wanted, and so they put in the stop bar tailpiece and the bridge. It takes a lot less tension off of just one general spot. So I'm sure that's why they probably did that. And the strings just feed through the bottom part of the stop bar tailpiece. And they've been using this since the late 50s. These are very common. Again, this is an Epiphone. Again, we have the stop bar tailpiece and Tune-o-matic bridge on the 335. This is a semi-hollow body. Okay, so that when you see the stop bar tailpiece there, you know that there's a piece of wood going through there. Hollow bodies do not have those. Hollow bodies have some type of tailpiece like this. Now this is called a Trapeze Tailpiece, and this is on the Epiphone Casino here, the beautiful guitar. And you see it has the Tune-o-matic bridge, but a Trapeze tailpiece to go with it because it's hollow inside. So of course this goes down around the strap button down there. But this works really fine. Love it. We have no problems with it. Now we're starting to get a little more complex as we go here. Now we have the Fender trim bridge. This is a Strat trim bridge, right? These things have been around for, well, basically since the Strat's been around. They have these in hardtails too, but this is the trim bridge. And it has springs in the back of the guitar that keep the tension on it, and of course the strings over the top. This is what keeps it in tune. This does not have a locking nut, so that's generally the area where and why it's going to go out of tune, if and when it does go out of tune when you're using that bar. So that's why when they created the Floyd Rose bridge, which is much more complicated, really what this is a series of clamps. And these are your fine tuners, of course, you guys that are familiar with these. This is again a floating bridge. It just sits there, and the tension of the springs in the back and the springs over the top are what keeps the bridge in place. All right, so but tuning it is a whole lot of fun when you change the strings. It's just, you have to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and intonating this thing, it can also be a real pain. But at least it has these fine tuners, because once you lock in that nut, which is a locking nut, it's not going anywhere up here up top, right? Nothing's going to move up here. So you want to get it as absolutely close to in tune as you possibly can, and then leave these at about 50% out or in, however you want to look at it. Well, there, you can see me on the guitar here there. So you want to leave that about halfway in or out, the fine tuners. So in case, if it's humid, it's going to go sharp, and if it's dry out, it's going to go flat. So that's generally what these are for. Because you have to use an Allen wrench all the time on the locking nut up there, and that can be kind of a pain in the butt, and you can strip them out and all that. So that's why the fine tuners. So, okay, let's also talk about a Kahler. Now, Kahler bridges are somewhat similar to Floyd Rose. They came out, from what I understand, about the same time. I had a Kahler on a Flying V, a Hamer Flying V, many, many years ago. And I loved the bridge. It had a very low profile. It was very easy to mute, where these Floyd Roses can be kind of noisy. But the Kahler was not. And the only problem with it is it had a tendency to break my B string. And it would always happen about a week or so after I changed the strings. Almost like clockwork. It's like, okay, I'm ready for my B to go. And sure enough, there it went. So I had sold that guitar, but not because I didn't like the guitar or the bridge or anything. It was just, you know, one of those things, really stupid, you sell the guitar. But now also we have the Bigsby bridges, which you tend to see on guitars like these. They have them on Les Pauls too as well. Those are really cool. They don't dive bomb like these can do, especially the Floyd. But they're more of just a nuanced type of bridge. So I don't have any guitars with Bigsby, unfortunately. I wish I did. Maybe someday in the future I will. But we've got all these right now. And again, I don't have any issue with any of these bridges whatsoever. No problem. They're all great. They function just like they're supposed to. And so, you know, that's a good thing. Alright guys, well, we really appreciate you watching this. We did have a video out some time ago, over a year ago I think, about bridges, but we have a few new ones here. I've picked up a few new guitars since then, so I pulled down that video and remade, I'm going to replace it with this one. So, alright guys, please subscribe if you have not already subscribed. If you enjoy our channel, please subscribe. We really appreciate it. Help us grow. Alright guys, thanks so much, and we'll see you next video.